Okay, so the thing I want to talk about today is the idea of preparing. I know there are a lot of people who have difficulties going outside, meeting new people, doing things like going to lunch. Something I did today. And the hardest thing for me sometimes is being able to find the energy to go outside. It's not as easy as like every for let's say normal or average people to just go out and have lunch with a friend or just do whatever. Most times I tend to avoid it. However, Danny, her friend Allie, and Josh all wanted me to go out to lunch with them. Um, and they gave me about a week's notice, which was very cool of them for them to do, knowing that I have difficulty trying to, you know, just do that. In the car, getting there, I was very nervous, and even sitting when I actually sat down with everybody else, it was very nerve wracking. Um, Danny kept asking, "Oh, was something wrong?" And not really being talkative. What's the matter? And it's hard to explain in the moment what's going on without freaking out about it. And I think on the way home, it was brought up again, and I was like, "Well, sometimes I just need a little bit more time to kind of adjust to what's happening." And I use the example that oh no, wait, no, sorry, that's not how it began. They wanted to go somewhere else. I'm like, I really can't do going somewhere else. And they were like, oh, well, why not? And I gave them a list of things that I need to do. I'm like, well, some of those things don't need to do until later. For instance, visitation. I have visitation today. And they're like, well, you don't have, well, Danny was like, you don't have visitation until 7. And I go, well, I prep. I prep and prepare myself in such a way so that I know during visitation, the likelihood of an incident happening is reduced tremendously. If I put my mind, if I control my mind, my mindset to be able to just be in the moment when while I am at visitation, because a lot of things happen through a day. Sometimes you get mad, sometimes you get emotional, sometimes bad things just happen. Um, the last thing I ever want to do is take that anger and frustration and annoyance of an adult day and bring it to my son and be like, I'm just mad about. Sorry, I keep thinking I see a piece of hair from my chin. And be like, oh, I'm just angry about something, and it doesn't concern him. Not that he's not important enough to let him know that that's part of my life, but because I choose for him to experience the better part of my life is what parents should do. And it's not about parenting per se, but it's more like the idea that sometimes when you are nervous about something, like let's say going down to the grocery store, or I know a lot of my friends don't like going down to Walmart because Walmart is so full of people. However, if you kind of prepare yourself, not just mentally, not just like, okay, well, I sit in my room and kind of think about it for an hour. If you prepare yourself like, okay, this is what I'm going to get when I'm at Walmart, or if I freak out, what are my options that I can do if things become overwhelming? Um, should I bring somebody with me? Is there some kind of coping mechanism I can use? And luckily, I have been going to skills, which have equipped me with a vast array of different coping mechanisms and skills to be able to handle public situations better. Now, I'm not the best. I still count people in the room, exits, chairs, um, exit strategies, entrance strategies, the most dangerous area, the least dangerous area, a safe area for if something were to happen, versus if there was a car wreck. If I happen to see a car the come through a store before it actually hits the store, where would be the best place to be? Now it seems like paranoia, and it does, but the idea that if I prepare myself for it mentally, then I'll be able to react better if something happens. Now I don't always hope that a car goes through a storefront or something like that. But what would happen if someone happened to have an asthma attack? Or what would happen if someone happened to choke on food? Do you sit there like a deer in headlights, or do you kind of go, okay, well, I know CPR, so let's see what I know the Heimlich maneuver. Who has the and my mind would go, okay, who is more likely to go through that? And I just kind of run through the scenarios and kind of test myself. Um, Now, sometimes the idea of preparation can go too far. Where, like, let's say I go to a friendly gathering in a complete full body suit. Like, yeah, I'm prepared, but I'm a little bit over prepared. It's one of those things like, okay, well, what is going to allow me to allow my mind frame, my mindset, if you will, to be in a right area and in the right zone to be able to enjoy myself. And if something does happen, I know mentally I'll be able to react to it rather than kind of going, something is happening and I don't know what to do. If there's something that I don't know what to do, there's always something you can do. If something happens, you have to be prepared to call 911. If someone needs help, you have to. Me, at the very least, I know for me, I need to be prepared. If not physically, or with what I have on me, like items or materials, then at least mentally. Not in the idea of preparation of, oh, I expect something to happen, more or less. Like, okay, I'm going somewhere to have fun, but if something were to happen, I know who is important in that scenario. Who do I have to look out for? I know I have to look out for the people that I came with and anybody else who I feel will need my assistance. Because there have been multiple times in public where the worst thing for me, and I made a video about this for Xavier in the Legacy Project, the idea of the three Fs, being fight, flight, and I add the third one, freeze, which is from fear. When you just don't do anything, when you just kind of sit there, kind of like, I don't know what the hell's happening, and it's like, well, you're not really fighting to help, or you're not really running away from the scenario. You're just sitting there, kind of like frozen in time. And I never, ever, ever liked that scenario. I never ever liked that option, and I always try to do whatever it takes to prevent that option from happening. That's what I want to talk about today. That's what I wanted. That's what I did. I did talk about, and these things I don't prepare for as much because I know there has to be a certain limit to preparation, which is why I usually tend to limit it to like an hour. And someone needs me to do something like, oh, Nick, we need you for something. Like, okay, you need to give me about a day preparation for that, so that one, whenever I go and do something, I'm not already tired from the rest of my day's adventures because I put all my energy to what I knew was going to happen, and then something pops up. I'm like, okay, now I'm running on a tenth of a tank to do a half a tank worth of work. I need some preparation to at least be able to divvy up my energy a little bit better and smarter than that. So my advice that I'm suggesting to you guys is, if you feel that, okay, well, I don't like doing that, or I used to like doing that but I don't do it anymore, try to prepare. Try to, before you go out, be like, okay, well, kind of self-talk, like, okay, I'm going out to this place. Like today, I knew I was going out to get food. We were going to a restaurant, so I was like, okay, well, I knew where the restaurant was. I knew their hours. I knew the kind of food that they offered, so I was a little bit more prepared for when I got there. I'm like, okay, like I wasn't just looking at the menu, like I don't know what to do. And then I knew that I was with people that if I did say I'm not entirely sure what to get, or I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at, or I'm not exactly sure more or less the etiquette or whatever, they are understanding enough to kind of go, well, this is what this is, and this is how normal people do it. Luckily, Josh was with me, so that helped out. Daniel was with me, so that was tremendous to have her there with me. And and Allie is starting to be a little bit more of the circle, not the inner circle, of course, but she's starting to become more of the circle of friends that I have. Um, but it's always good to prepare. Know that preparation is great. So keep that in mind. Preparation is great when it comes to preparing yourself for future events or anything that happens to give you a little bit more anxiety than anything else. Going to the store, hanging out with friends, seeing the in-laws. Preparation does more good than anything else. So that's just what I want to say today. So I hope you guys got something from that today, and I'm glad I was able to share that with you. So I hope you all have a good day. And there's no title yet. Obviously, you guys see the different and proud up there. I think in the future I'm going to have the key word that I'm going to try to talk about to keep myself focused on the topic. But that's what I wanted to talk about today, preparation. And I want to thank you guys for your time. Have a nice day, and I will see you next time.